Ah, so you did submit it to GDQ and didn't get in?
You're live. Good luck.
Ooh, we're live.
Live.
Look at the jumping,
Wee, there's so much jumping with Lil today.
Okay, so I am Dragondarch, and with me on the call I have Mr. Starbird, who's going to be helping me out immensely because this game is really difficult for me to try and commentate myself. Because there's a lot of very precise manipulation going on, and I kind of have to focus to not mess any of it up. Messing it up costs a lot of time because it affects how fast I can move. So he's going to be doing most of the talking. But this is Legacy of the Wizard, also known in Japan as Dragon Slayer 4, Drazel Family. Released on a few platforms, but I'm playing the NES version today.
Yes, we were playing the good version.
And with that, I'm going to go ahead and reset and get started, and Mr. Starbird will pretty much take over on commentary for a little bit.
I will try anyway.
So, countdown begins. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, so the first thing you're going to see is he's actually going to point his finger at the old man, blame him, and what that does is basically resets the RNG to 0, which is going to be key as he takes Lil, the high-jumping girl. She gives everyone a high five when she jumps, by the way. But he's doing that because he's going to reset the RNG, and this is going to allow him to do practically frame perfect manipulations to get scroll drops. And anyone who's ever played this game knows that scrolls are the most important thing you can find. And as you see, he picks one up right there. What scrolls do is they give you a boost of speed. And the best thing is that they stack up to a certain number. I can never remember the exact number. I think it's 4, but he's going to take... This is why I'm here, because this is actually very, very precise to get them stacked up. And you're going to see here that you blink and you're going to miss everything. So there's another scroll pickup. It looks like he got 3 of them.
It is faster to reset than it is for me to continue on without not being on the manipulation.
Yeah, that's just how important the taquitos are. We call them taquitos. They're scrolls. You can call them whatever at this point, burritos. But yeah, taquitos make you go fast. And that's just how important they are, is that if you miss a manipulation, you're still quicker to go back, reset, redo this, than to go on with it. No, he didn't say Abe Lincoln. He said, hey, Blinken. Wait, that's what I said. I don't know.
Hold the reins, man.
Yeah, someone's getting the references at least. So he's gonna try this again, and yeah, the placements of where the monsters are in the frame that it's on have to be pretty spot on in order to get to guarantee these drops. And this is why Dragondarch's by far the best at this game, is that he knows the correct frames and the correct placements, and he can hit them pretty consistently. So he's going to go back and grab this, and he's also going to hope for a lot of lucky scroll drops as well by killing enemies. And the rule of thumb is if you see taquito, you go back for it. And it's faster to go back and get it than to move on without it. So always, if you're playing this game, if you see one drop, you go for it. You saw him grab the money and the crystal a while back as well. The crystal will allow him to warp out of the dungeon. He needs one of them for later in the game. The money bag gives him 50. Going to allow him enough money to buy the pickaxe, which is coming up here pretty quick. Now, as much as we love the scrolls, there is one downside to it, and
oh my god, I got that one.
You got the lucky scroll. So
no, that's the one I have so much trouble manipulating.
Oh, so that was awesome that he got that. The further you go in this, the harder it gets to manipulate all of them. But now we are going into what's called ludicrous speed.
Scroll speed 4, plaid.
We have gone to plaid. And at this rate, I mean, even at scroll speed 3, it's hard to control, but you can see exactly what kind of what kind of speed this goes through. If he didn't have any of these scrolls, he still wouldn't even be in this level at this point. That's just how much it matters. Now, I was saying the only downside of it is your magic attacks also tend to go faster as well, and that's actually a bit of a detriment because monsters take damage based on every frame your attacks in their hitbox. So if your attacks are going fast through their hitbox, it's not dealing damage per frame, as it's not having as many frames to deal damage. So we try to get rid of scroll speed by the time we get into bosses. The first couple bosses you can go in with scroll speed and be okay. The last couple, it's going to mess things up and cause a lot of trouble. So, and I also compare having scroll speed to like a sugar high. You're going really fast and it's like, oh, now I just crashed.
That's the first time I've actually had scrolls actually hit max speed in quite a while. That last scroll is super hard to manipulate.
Yeah, the further you go into the dungeon, just because of the way RNG is, you literally would have to be frame perfect all the way through to get it. And being that many frames in to get it, that's quite an accomplishment. Give him a hand and... Or get your PogChamps out, whatever the equivalent is for this for chat these days. Now he's coming up on a pretty difficult jump here, and there's a very small window, and it looks like he did get it. It's a tricky jump. With the pause jump, it's not a big deal, but it does waste time if you miss it, and that's something I forgot to explain as well. Is we're skipping a lot of these levels by doing a trick called the pause jump. What the pause jump does is, as long as you make a jump and you pause midway through, you unpause and you drop by 1 pixel at least, pause again, and as you're unpausing, you hold your jump button and you'll basically get a second jump out of it. You can chain those and reach high places, and this allows Lil to skip getting the jump boots, but it will also allow her to go into the father's area and actually complete that dungeon without having to use the glove, because normally in a if you don't use the pause jump, you can't use Lil to go through the father's area. It's just there's too many blocks that are too high up. Even with the jump shoes, you can't do it. So we're taking Lil again. He's actually grabbing the elixir this time as well. And what Lil's going to do is go into Pochi's area. Dragondarch's going to try and set up the scroll manipulation again. Good. And this is another case that if he did not get the manipulation, it'd still be faster to go back to the house, come back, and try again. But he's going to go into Pochi's area, and unfortunately, we're not going to see Pochi today. That's always a disappointment, but in a speedrun setting, you got to go with the best characters, and Lil is probably the best character to use in a speedrun for the majority of the game anyway. Some people do use Pochi because Pochi's level is a ridiculously hard level, as the enemies there hit like trucks. And Dragondarch's going to set up, hopefully, and get this last scroll manipulation here.
Got it.
And there we go. So yeah, we're back to ridiculous speed anyway. And so yeah, the elixir, whenever you lose your life entirely, as long as you have the elixir highlighted, you'll revive. It'll use it up, but it's basically your fairy at this point. And so there's a couple enemies that are coming up that will that will destroy you in one shot. This is why it's Pochi's areas, because Pochi is he is immune to monster damage. They consider him a monster as well, so he does not get damaged by these monsters. But the mimics coming up will deal 100 damage per shot, and it's an insta-kill. So there's a way to get around them, but you do need the elixir with Lil in order to do it. And if you mess up by even a pixel, it can definitely be detrimental, because yeah, you'd have to go back and start this all over again.
I am so glad I had 44 health there.
Ooh, yeah, you can see where this is, but at this point it doesn't matter because he got the elixir equipped. He's going to revive fully, get his health back, and good, he made that jump. Yeah, because if he got tapped by that mimic again, he would have to start this dungeon over. So we're coming up to the second boss, Erebone, and much like the first boss, Terratoons, Erebone is, at this point, basically just shoot the magic. or to destroy it, and then just try and shoot him without taking much damage. Can be a little tricky, but he can usually handle it pretty well. Now, he did grab another item here. It kind of, I don't know what to explain as far as it looks like. I didn't think it looked like a glove back in the day, but it's the power knuckle that he grabbed. And what that does is that quadruples your attack power. And that's going to be vital coming up in the next 2 boss fights. So again, he points a finger at the old man. He's like, yo, you reset my RNG, please. So the old man says, okay. So let that be a lesson. If you ever need your RNG reset, you point a finger at an old man. So here he's going to do the same thing as he did last time. He's going to set up his scroll manipulation a certain way, and hopefully get the 3rd scroll coming up here. And there is a chest scroll that is going to be coming up before the next dungeon, which should give him a pretty fast speed as well. And there's a 4th one, so he will... Oh, he's actually going to stop at this shop real quick, though. He's going to pick up the magic key here, which is going to be an important item for Maina, the mother, for the next area. And there's... we're back to Plaid, I believe.
Yes, this is Plaid once again.
Yes, so this is a magnificent run. We have seen Plaid twice here. So he also grabbed the crossbow, another important item that the mother needs, which we grabbed the wings of the 1st dungeon, so she has all the items that she needs. So basically, at this point, we do have all the items we need to finish the game. And as we are in ludicrous speed and have gone to Plaid, it's Dragondarch is now going to have trouble controlling, but he's making this look really easy because this is ridiculous. Right here, he's going to pick up the magic potion. What that does is when you run out of magic, you use that, much like the elixir. You run out of magic, have that equipped, and your magic will refill. You need that because there's one part coming up where you will not have enough magic to get through what I call the block tower room. And normally you're in here with the father. He uses the power glove to move blocks, and the power glove, when you're using it as an item to move blocks, does not cost any magic. But when you destroy a block with a pickaxe, it does take up a unit of magic. Because the block tower room is a very repetitive room, you're going to need a lot of magic. So he's going to stop at an inn and restore his magic and health, but he's also going to grab the magic elixir as well. Yeah, this is our Omega number. It's not an easy game to speedrun, but boy, is it a fun and rewarding one when you can hit those scroll manipulations. So, where was I going? I don't even remember what I was going to say. That chest up there is actually where you would actually find the pickaxe. Normally, if you're here with the father, that's actually where you would go to get it in a no-pause jump route. I'm just going to Blake, I gotta speak. English bird. So now we have everything we need, and he's actually going to grab I believe he's also going to grab the elixir and for safety in the at the end of this level.
Yep, I am.
Yeah, in a world record attempt or a PB attempt, if you get a good time, you probably wouldn't go for that elixir, but and definitely a marathon safe strat here. So this is the block tower room I was mentioning earlier, and as you can see, you've got towers of... How many blocks are there? 9 by the looks? So you got 9. You got multiple of these. 9 blocks. So each tower contains 9 blocks. So every time you clear a tower, are using up 9 magic. And unfortunately, there are more than 10 rows. So, and you get 90 magic to start with, I believe. 90 or 100? I think it's 99. So you start with 99. There are more than 11s here. So even at full magic, you would still need more. So if you're using Lil here, you absolutely need that potion, and thankfully they do give you one for free. Actually, in this game, you can actually find every item in a treasure chest except for the shield. And the shield's actually a really tricky one to get. Actually, it's not so much tricky as it's just very well hidden. But in a speedrun, you don't use a shield anyway. But casually, if you're playing through it, the shield's very vital because as long as you have it equipped, you're blocking all magic shots from bosses. So it's very vital in defending against them. The only thing is it also costs 95 gold.
Hello,
so
Taquito?
Lucky. I think when we last played this game, you had that lucky taquito there too.
I think I did.
I think you're just manipulating this game further.
I wish.
I know, right? It's like a task. What's the task down to now? Like 18 minutes or something?
18. I think it's 16.
Oh, gee whiz. 60. That's just how ridiculous it is. Dragon Dark has a 23-minute and some change world record. The task still has 7 minutes on it. That's just how, and the task can just, and also, but the task also does a trick with the, where it can push left and right at the same time, where we can't. Because technically, if you could push left and right at the same time, theoretically, you could keep them in you can keep your attack in a monster's hitbox permanently, just with one shot, and it would just burn through their health. So that's what I believe the task does as well. But because we're playing legit, we cannot hit left and right at the same time.
This is a safety strat here. Normally I just go straight to the boss. This costs about 20 or so seconds.
Gotta go for that butt bridge, you know.
But I want to make sure I've got all the health I can get for this boss.
Yes, Archwinger is coming up, and the strat here is don't go in with scroll speed if you can help it. And he's gonna shoot magic really fast at you, so you want to counter that by shooting your own magic. That'll break that. You want to take this lower path here. Now, there's going to be a ledge that's coming up, and you're going to see Archwinger here bounce off that ledge, kind of bonk off it. And as soon as he turns around...
He jumped when he shouldn't have.
Oh, that was really bad luck there. Normally, what happens is as soon as he bonks off that, he'll turn around and you can just fire at him really quick. But this is just how the RNG is sometimes, that he jumped. Normally, he doesn't jump there.
Yeah, I'm used to him just walking to the right, and I can get a kill on him like that. But he normally does not make a jump, which
I don't think I've ever seen him jump right there either. And you can see that, and you can see if you die, and that's a deep dungeon to die in. It's not the worst one to die at the boss end, but it's still pretty bad. But he's pointing his finger at the old man again, and he's saying, you know, reset this RNG, and please give me a better seed with the dragon this time. So when you die, you get sent back, and as long as you hit continue and not, wait, I think it's continue. Yeah, as long as you hit continue, you still, how do I want to say this? You restart with the items you had when you last went to the house. So the key that he has, the crossbow, the everything that he had that he picked up here, he's gonna have to re-pick up again. But at least on the bright side, we do get to see Plaid again.
This is true.
We can never see enough. Oh, I was gonna say we can never see enough Plaid, but you know, when time starts to get into the hour, like my normal runs do with this game, then yeah, Plaid gets. And here's the sad part: I'd still be in Pochi's area right now, and I know scroll manipulation to a point, but I'd still be. You know, he could Dragon Dark. If we were racing, he could probably die another 2 times at the very end of this and still beat me. I'm just waiting for Dragon Dark to start running the MSX version. Oh, he's even throwing at that one. Yeah, the MSX version. I'm the only one crazy enough right now to actually attempt that. It's practically the same game. The NES version is actually made a lot easier compared to that. The MSX one actually came out first, if I recall correctly. But unlike Legacy of the Wizard, the screens don't scroll, so every time you reach the end of a screen, it kind of moves over. So the screen transitions are a little different as well. And Lil's dungeon in particular is a lot different. There's actually quite a few differences, but the gameplay is practically the same. And one thing you can do is actually you can technically skip all of this area in the MSX version, which is pretty neat. It's it's something I found by accident, but it's if only we could do that with this version, right?
Yeah, really.
Unfortunately, that's something they patched out when they made the NES version. Because in the MSX version, you could, as long as you had 1 crown, there were some portraits you could use, and at 2 crowns, you can actually use a portrait that'll take you to basically the last screen of the father's area, but you can only use it as ROAS. So you kind of have to, in order to get to the crown, you actually have to do some damage boosting. The neat part is that if you do it that way, you don't have to fight Archwinger. You just fight the last boss you fought. So another bug. Actually, I wouldn't even call it a bug because something I discovered when I did the randomizers that if you actually do fight a boss with ROAS, you fight the boss that was previously fought. So that's even something that's in the NES version. But again, it would be you playing as ROAS. So.
Well, technically, how fast the bosses go down, it doesn't really matter that much.
No, in this particular game, unless there was some skip that we could find where we didn't have to do all of Mayna's area or all of Zem's area. Yeah, using ROAS to skip a boss or to, do Erebone again wouldn't be worth it. Because Archwinger does go down pretty fast, but then again, if you can go down pretty fast too. Erebone's a little safer. But the only thing from the MSX version, and I say this every time, I'm like a broken record at this point, the only thing I wish the MSX version, or the NES version kept, there's that taquito again.
I literally got the same taquito.
This is like 3 times in a row I've seen you get that one.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, you're manipulate, that's what it is. You're just gonna have to go back and find out, what am I doing? But yeah, the one thing I wish the NES version did that the MSX did was each boss in the MSX version has their own unique battle theme, whereas the NES one for all 4 bosses plays Terratoon's battle theme. And some of those battle themes, especially Archwinger, is really, really good. But of course, the soundtrack in this game is just ridiculously good anyway, because this is Yuzo Koshiro, who any Streets of Rage fans, ActRaiser soundtrack fans out there, they know who he is, and the guy's a musical genius as well. So this is one of the games where he got his start in. It looks like he's gonna go back for that butt bread again.
Yeah, I needed a little more than I did last time.
Yeah, depending on how you look at it, some people, especially in the randomizer community, call it a bean. I can see it a bean. A lot of people out there will just call it a butt. So in the game, in the manual, it says it's bread. So it's butt. Yes, they are, Tiro. Like, Fact Xanadu and Trials in the Sky are a part of the Dragon Slayer series. And boom, he's gonna keep firing because just because the boss dies, it will still shoot magic, and if you're gonna tank those hits, you very well still could die. And in this game, in a tie, bosses always
win.
So now that he's through that part, sorry, I got a naughty kitty right now. That's. Alright, I'm back. I think. Alright, so anyways, he's gonna set up the scroll manipulation one more time. Well, I wouldn't say one more time because he's gonna do it again after this, but he's selecting Mayna this time. And out of everything, she's probably the character that can deal the most damage, even though she doesn't have the strongest attack in the game. But she definitely can whittle down monsters pretty quickly. The 3 items he has is the magic wings, which will let him basically go anywhere on the map. It lets him fly, float, whatever you want to call it at that point, and it's going to be useful to get to certain points. And it's actually required in a couple spots as well. The other item he has is the crossbow, which is Mayna's block moving item, which you just saw there. Basically just fires the block off in one direction, and it bounce off the wall and come back. And it'll destroy that one. It'll destroy any monsters that are in the way. But if you get hit by it, you're going to lose a point of health. Not a big deal, really, but... The last one is the magic key or key stick. What that does is normally when you unlock a... Ooh, lucky taquito. But what the magic key does is, well, normally when you unlock a door, you waste one of your keys to do it. And the magic key, what that does is, rather than use one of your keys, it'll use a point of magic to unlock that door. And in this particular dungeon, while it's not required, Sorry about that. Sorry about that. My cat's getting my fortune cookie, and I'm not happy about that. No. The magic key is not necessarily required in this dungeon, but for a speed run, you're better off having it because there's so many doors here, and you'd have to do a lot of key grinding in order to get through it without the magic key, and that just takes up too much. Xanos, no one's taking my fortune cookie, especially my cat.
I'm gonna get safety butt bread again.
Butt bread, the fabric of our lives. Wait a second. Your fortune is make sure the humans don't see this. That's pretty much what my cat thinks, anyway. Yeah, I've never played... Out of all the Dragon Slayer games, this is the only one I've played too. No, I have played a little bit of Faxanadu, but I've never played any of the... But yeah, little known thing about key drops. As long as you have 1 or 0 keys, whenever you kill an enemy, you're going to get a key. That's basically a guaranteed drop at that point. Anything more, the drop tables change quite a bit. Which, it goes by what you technically need. So right now, where Dragondarch's magic's pretty low, whenever he kills an enemy, he's probably going to get a magic drop.
Yeah, I'm low enough that I'm going to get magic no matter what. Scrolls cannot drop when you're under 30 magic, 20 health, or 2 keys. Like, it just straight up can't happen.
Yeah, the drops are on a priority list, and as he had mentioned, when your life is below a certain threshold, when your magic's below a certain threshold, keys and gold, if those are all at a certain threshold, then you will have a chance to get, which is also another reason why he's also grabbing the inn here as well. And I think, yeah, he needs a little bit more gold. He should. Yeah, I was gonna say he should have enough now. He needs it at this point. He's going to need to stay at the end one more time, and this is why I said the wings were required. If you try and go across that without wings, you're going to get stuck between those spikes in that ceiling. And it's like one of the 2 spaces I believe you need it for in this dungeon. But he needs to stay at the end one more time at least as Mena, and he's going to need it one time as Roaz, so... He's got enough to get through, thankfully. Every time you go to the inn, it takes 10 gold, but it completely refills your health and your magic, and you also have the opportunity to swap out any items, which is very important. I have a sassy cat right now. She's getting into everything, and I'm saying, my wife and I are saying, no, don't do this. And what does she do? She's like, yeah, like sassy pants. Oh, lucky taquito. And this is a good area to have the taquito in because it's just winding back and forth. This is sort of an RTS RPG hybrid. Yeah, actually, this has been kind of a long debated game whether it counts as an RPG or not. I think it does, but this is something I've had with people argument with people since actually it's probably been close to. Probably almost 20 years now since I've had this argument with somebody. But eventually, I think, because what happened was I used to do pages for RPGclassics.com, and I worked on this particular game as well, and people were saying, this game's not an RPG, and I debated it, and they said, oh, all right, we'll put it. So since it's on the website RPGclassics.com, I suppose that it's officially an RPG. We can't argue with something like that, right?
Sure. We'll go with that.
Well, my thoughts exactly. Human is commentating speedrun. That was my chance. That's pretty much Luna for you. Oh god, yeah. I mean, technically, any game is an RPG, as long as you're playing the role of something. I mean, Tetris you can consider an RPG. You're playing the role of the square or the Z block, which I always get when I want a freaking straight block. So yeah, this just in. Questing for Glory 3 will have Tetris in it. Because we are playing the role of that straight block. So, He stayed at the end one last time. He's taken the magic key because he needs to get through these last doors, but he's also taken the elixir and the power knuckle. The elixir he doesn't necessarily need, but for this particular boss, it's safety. Okay, yeah, you remember what I said? You go back for taquito. That's not a taquito you go for. And besides that, you can't reach that area from here anyway. So this is Rock Guy. This is the final of the 4 major bosses. And thankfully the magic he shoots is really slow, but it hurts a ton. So he's going to get in this little corner and basically fire away. And see, before I can even get a chance to say anything, it's already done. So you get in that little corner, you equip the power knuckle, you fire away at him. And after he dies, you equip the elixir because that happens.
World record attempts don't have that luxury. You just take the chance that he's not going to kill you.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, that's... I mean, Rock Guy is not a difficult boss, but he just hits like a truck. And
he hits for 40 damage every single hit. Whether you touch him or whether it's a bullet. It's 40 damage every hit.
Yeah, that's... But other than that, his magic is slow, his movement's slow and predictable, and you got that one safe spot in the corner that you can just fire away at. There are strategies where you can just kind of stand up there and fire at him, but it's a lot... It's safer, and it's probably better casually, but it's definitely not one you want to do on a speed run. So now he's going with Roaz, the boy, and this is his only use. He can't use any... the only movement item he can use is the jump shoes. And other than that, he cannot move blocks. And he's got like 1 attack and very low jump. He's useless for the most part, but unfortunately he's also the only one who can actually use the Dragon Slayer, which is the weapon we need, which is why we're getting the 4 crowns to begin with, because we get the 4 crowns and we have to go to the portrait up here, which normally there's a long process to go through, and the lion was not cooperating, I say.
As usual.
Yeah, so we're gonna, because of that, we're gonna have to chain more pause jumps than we'd like. So
this is the intended way up there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's not like a million portraits in this game where you have to find the right one and go from one to the other, and this game kind of trolls you casually, because if you actually go the original intended route, not the pretend intended, I almost messed that one up. The pretend intended route. The portrait that leads to that area will actually drop you. You actually have to hold left to make that ledge, because if you don't, you're going to fall right back down and have to do that all over again. It's very trolly, especially the first time you play it. But with pause jumping, yeah, you don't have to worry about it anyway. You're not going that way anyway. So he grabs the Dragon Slayer, uses the crystal to peace out, and now he's on his way to the final boss. He's going to stay at the end because he needs to actually get the Dragon Slayer, because you can't actually get into the fight without it. And you actually... The reason you need the crowns is to activate those portraits. In case I didn't mention that already. So we're going to take a refill. Magic doesn't matter at this point. He just needs enough life to get through, which he should have enough. He's going to go for a quick kill here and hope it doesn't backfire on him.
I've had boss dies, and here we go. Don't blink.
Do not blink. So he's going to get in between the legs and the fire, and then he's going to kind of let the dragon kick him a little bit. And he's going to do it until the dragon's under 10 health. Because if that dragon, when it dies, if it collapses on you, you're going to take full damage and die. So that is time. And that is game. So very, very good run, I'd say.
That is another boss that you do not win ties with. His corpse, when he's dying, has an active hitbox, and there's 1 frame after when it teleports you out, where you technically regain control, and if you touch his hitbox while he's dying, he does 10 damage per frame, and you'll run out of health, and that 1 frame that you regain control before it teleports you out, you die. So you have to jump away from him before you run him out of health, or you will die. And you don't win the tie there, unfortunately.
No boss gives you the tie, that's for sure. 32:28 is the time I'm seeing, and that is still better, even with that death, than my PB. So this is just how much of a beast Dragondarch is at this game.
I have no business being as consistent as I am with the manipulation. Like, it's so ridiculously precise that I'm surprised I get it as often as I do.
Again, that's all we can say. You're just a beast at this game. It's like you have like a 5-minute lead over second place. It's just that's how, and it's very precise. And there are some people that are trying desperately to get that, and so you may have some competition here pretty soon. By the way, that competition is not coming from me. I'm not getting that close.
Terex is actually less than 5 minutes now. He's got a 27.
Who does?
Dark Terex.
Really? He got that low already?
Yeah, he's got a 27 now.
Doesn't that bot Fiesel for a second?
Yes, it does.
Wow. So what do we see you run no pause jump?
When my list of projects gets smaller.
I think I know where I can find some whiteout. That ought to shrink it pretty good. Alright, by the way, I think we're coming up to our shoutouts here, which we always have to shout out at the end of a Dragon Slayer 4 game. Who's credited as the elf of the family. I know, it's this is a game that defines races and, you know, puts an elf along with a ranger and don't forget a monster.
Or Dr. Key.
Yes, shoutouts also to Dr. Key.
But he's not the most important person on this crew.
No, definitely not. At least it's not like another game I play where the credits actually say quality control, dog.
I would trust a dog over the quality control of some games.
Yeah, like Dangerous Building.
Yeah. Shoutouts to Produce, by the way.
Shoutouts to Produce and Koshiron.
Or Kosh
But
Iron,
most
depending
important,
on how you want to pronounce it.
But more importantly, we shout out to Produce. This is Shaq How, no relation to Shaq Fu as far as me.
What we guess his actual job was when people got hungry, he ran to the grocery store and got them some produce. Make sure they were eating healthy.
Yep. Else we would not have gotten this great game.
Well, that's it for Legacy of the Wizard. Outside of that death, that actually went pretty smoothly. I was getting pretty good scroll luck, and we've gotten that same taquito now 3 times in Zem's area.
Yeah, I'm very lucky drop. Leave it to you.
Yep, this was originally made by Falcom. Ported over to the US by Broderbund. But yeah, originally a Falcom title.
Broderbund gave us such great games as The Guardian Legend, which actually is a legit good game, and Deadly Tap,
which is
Crying Cabins,
which is a game.
Does it qualify as one?
It qualifies as a game. That's all I'll say.
I thought it was like people call it an RPG. I said it barely qualifies as a game. It's more just an RP.
But anyway,
so what we got Nier coming up next, I believe.
I'm sure we do. I'm sure HS is getting them set up right now. So I'm gonna toss it over to them. They're gonna probably play some music, announce the game, and then get them underway. So thanks, Mr. Starbird, for coming in and doing commentary for me again. Always appreciated.
Anytime at all. And thank you all for having us. I hope you enjoy the rest of this marathon. Gonna be a blast. Take care, everyone.
See you later, guys. Enjoy the next run.